today and I didn't want to do anything, but I realized we are being authentic. It's okay to show up how I am and not showing up as the highest energy version of me when this is also who I am. Like, everyone has 1,000 layers to themselves. So let's do it. I've been thinking so much about like letting yourself begin, like letting yourself be a beginner at something. And I have a few fun examples, and this is obviously the largest one right now, but I have a few really cool examples of just starting things, especially as an adult. And I know I'm a very young adult. Starting things as an adult can still be really hard because a lot of like sports or hobbies you start as a child when it's really encouraged, or you're a teenager, and that's when people get into new things. Then as you get into your adulthood, it can be so scary to start something new because you're bad. Or like, let's put that in other terms, you're a beginner, like you're just starting at it. And when I was feeling really scared to start this channel, I was thinking about all these things I'm about to tell you about, where I'm just like, wow, I want it to feel like a safe space to be a beginner. And I have to love myself enough to let myself have the journey that allows me to not be a beginner one day. You know, like you can't just appear there. And some things we're better at than others. I have been really into ducking on rivers. I went on a river trip recently, and usually river trips terrify me, and I would rather be in a raft where I don't have a lot of control. You know, I'm just like taking paddle commands, like forward, and you paddle forward, or backwards. But when you're in a ducky, you're either in a single ducky. A ducky is also known as like the IK, the inflatable kayak, which is still very different than whitewater kayaking. Very different. I have so much respect for kayaking. I think it is so difficult. But now I'm kind of interested in it because I let myself be a beginner at duckying, and instead of just like always pushing it off like I have in the past when I've been in a ducky, just like a little inflatable boat, I like embraced learning and looking forward to the little successes I was getting. And a week in a ducky, and I ended up like I started looking forward to every one of the days that was coming up. How cool is that? You know, and it's just so beautiful because it took me like 2 years of being on and off the river to get there, but I hadn't actually been open to it either, you know? So that's one example of growth where I actually didn't even want it, but then I'm so grateful I had growth there because now I get to go back to this thing and work on it some more and enjoy the fact that I'm a beginner, but I'm an excited beginner, and I've seen progress, so I know that I can make more progress. Progress is so exciting because once you have a little bit, you're like, oh yeah, I can have all the progress now. The second example that I have, this is gonna sound so showy, but we'll talk all about this. Last summer I ran an ultra marathon, and I can talk more about that in another video. I probably won't. It was a really cool experience. I've been a runner all my life. I love running. Running is very fun. And I was like, let's test ourselves and push myself. Even with like any running distance ever, you can't expect to show up to like the start line and just be able to do it. Like, it takes months of training and work, and you have to start somewhere. And so like when I was building my training plan for the ultra, it was a 50-mile race, which is pretty long, but most ultra runners do really crazy stuff. I feel like every runner at some point in their life is like, I'm gonna try an ultra. Like, everyone does the marathon, you know? And it was really cool, and I didn't think I'd do it again, but I fell in love with like the slow, comfy runs more than the race. But the race was good too. But that is like, it's funny because it's harder but also easy to be a beginner in that, because you tell people I'm training for an ultra, like boom, big huge ego boost. It's so easy to do that kind of thing. People respect. No one even wants to do that. So it's so easy. It sounds so funny to say that because it's not easy to put the work in, but it's so respectable. It's so looked up to that it's easy to be a beginner there and work towards it. Like, the whole way you're being supported and clapped on, like, because what you're doing is hard and people deem it worthy of value and respect in their eyes, even if they don't like running. It's like, whoa, that's a big hard thing. Like, when you hear anyone doing big hard things in any area, you're just like, kudos, you know? But when it comes to YouTube, this is a thing that a lot of people would not look at and think like, good for you. It is probably so cringy to a lot of people that this is the thing I want to be a beginner in, and I really value, and like YouTube kind of raised me. I grew up as a kid in technology. There's a girl, Hitomi, that I've been watching like almost all of my YouTube life, and like Good Mythical Morning is a totally different kind of channel, but I've watched them for like all through it. They raised me too. There are a few big YouTubers, Emma Chamberlain, and there's just a few of them that I've watched for so long that I deeply value it and I want to be part of the community, and that I have to be okay being a beginner and climbing the cringe mountain. It's just so funny because it takes so much more courage, because other people aren't going to hype you up in the same way. People might say and, you know, tell me and feel like, wow, that's really cool. Like, what a cool creative project you're beginning. I can't wait to see where it goes. You know, they might be supportive in a very general and kind way, but the majority of people don't look at you and think like, wow, good job. And so, but the whole point of it is just like, in here, it's letting yourself be a beginner, letting yourself start. You know, there are so many things. I feel like most things that people start, I don't know, like embroidery. You know, you start embroidery and it's going to be hard and kind of bad at first. Or painting, hard and kind of bad at first. It might be a little embarrassing to show people your paintings when it's like your first painting ever, you know, or one of your first embroidered pieces. It feels like that here. This is a very public facing one, which is really cool though, because it's been forcing me to face all these little demons and all these little things that I don't want, but that you get to shove away, you know, by doing the big hard stuff, and I can receive validation and support and be seen as valuable by other people. But now I'm doing the thing that people don't always think is valuable. I'm doing the thing that I love because I love it, not because of other people. And not to say I did the ultra for other people. It's just easy to do something that people look up to, you know? There's a huge community around it. Everyone at the race is really supportive, and people literally along the sidelines like cheering you on, giving you water. That's amazing. That doesn't exist here. You know, it exists in these settings once you make it. I was recording a bunch, and then I got a phone call, and it all went away. And I said so much good stuff. Part of what I was saying though is that you have to be so proud of yourself for starting. And it's so great. I'm so proud of myself for starting this little creative journey. Even in saying that, I say little because I'm downplaying it for you, for anyone that sees this. It's not little to me. It's so big and wonderful and exciting, and the thing that I've wanted to do for so long. I don't know if I've said this already, but if I have that vision of what I dream to be doing one day and I haven't started, I'm never allowing myself the opportunity to become that, because I'm forever just going to be in the I'm too scared to start phase. And I want you to know too, if you're scared to start because of the way other people will look at you, and who knows if it has to do with other people's perceptions, let that come. Because what that will show you too is the ones that love you will love you for or despite whatever you're doing. And they'll just be grateful that you're happy. And if they don't love you and they are judgmental for whatever reason, it's a them thing, and good. Because you also don't want those people in your life that are being judgmental and harsh when you're doing something you really care about. And it's almost like let yourself to like start the thing and see what happens. You know, you owe it to yourself to use your one life to live out the thing that you dream about, or the little hobby you want, or whatever it is. And if those people fall away, good. And you can trust that people like me exist that are not judgmental and don't care in the best way, whatever you do. We just want you to be happy. The more happy you are, the more happy I am. Unless it's murder. That makes me not happy. It's so hard to start. But if you want to start, do it. You know, start the class. Start the thing. Find a master class that has someone talking about the thing. And also, I love to think that the worst that will happen is I'll end up exactly where I was before I started. And for the better. I do trust everything happens for you, not to you. So, yeah, I'm really grateful I did this. And while it's been really scary and very vulnerable, it's been like the most fun, purpose-providing, exciting thing to think about. And you deserve that in whatever form that is. Yeah, I hope this was helpful. I hope you trust that you'll find people like you, or like me, or like the ones you love, and not let the thoughts of others touch you, because I'm so sad that it touched me for so long. And I am grateful I am starting it at the age and the maturity that I am now, but it also would have been cool to start it sooner. But clearly I wasn't meant to. I feel like I was meant to start it now. You can too. Okay.